Well, hey everybody, hope your day's going well. Mine started off amazingly well, and I just felt like I had to share it with you. I'm standing in the bathroom at the sink with my electric toothbrush in hand, buzzing away, like we all responsible citizens should do before their day starts. And I had this overwhelming sense of not just joy, but also the responsibility to steward well the gifts that God gave me, especially in the area of healing, because there's been so much of that in my life. I mean, so much healing has taken place over these last probably 5 or 6 years as a result of some really traumatic stuff that happened in my life, but that I'm thankful for, though. Very, very thankful for, because it put me into a place where I could reinterpret all those things from a totally different place. And so, as a result of that, I have been so engulfed in ministry, and as you know, even part of the Embracing Brokenness Ministries blog and vlog and video and podcast and all the things we do, we encounter people all the time that are in similar places that I was just not that long ago, really searching for answers about their identity. And so this overwhelming sense of a responsibility that God has given me, and He's given you too, if you're a Christ follower, to steward well what He's given. So I have gifts and I have talents just like you do, and part of what I do on a weekly basis with my wife, now she works at a mission, local mission, but I volunteer there on Thursdays usually, and part of that is to teach a class on identity and identity security, but I also am involved with her here more recently on a more experiential level. We started what we call identity practices. And so yesterday, we had an opportunity to lead and guide some of the guests there, and there's probably about a dozen in the room, through an experiential where they would sit quietly and ask the Lord with an outline of their body in front of them and 3 different color markers, but starting with the question, what lies, distortions, things did you believe about yourself for a good bit of your life that drove you to certain behaviors that just completely hijacked your identity? And as a result of that, believing those lies, you just have a different view of yourself, and even God, quite frankly, than what He's called you to have. And so we walked them through this exercise. And it was phenomenal because, just jotting down notes and seeing their responses that they shared, some of which just blew me away, because I have to say that it is a very hard thing when we dig deep into the wounds and the difficulties and the situations in our lives that really hurt us. And what struck me is, as Colleen asked me to come forward along with her and one of the other gentlemen who volunteers in this class to help, to pray for each individual. And at that moment, I just realized as they came up and I'm praying over people with tears in their eyes, that God showed them something uniquely different about their life that they believed, lies they believed, and just put a red X in the middle of it and said, you know what, I break any agreement that I have with these lies, and I want to live a new life in a new way and through a new perspective. It just overwhelmed me this morning. When I thought back on that, it's like, wow, it's a privilege to minister to people, but it's also a huge responsibility to steward it well. But here's the best part, and this is the punchline. You don't have to do anything. It's He who lives in you, the Spirit that lives in you, that moves you and motivates you and directs you every single day. And there's nothing about yesterday's activities that I could have put my finger on and said, I can expect this is going to happen or that's going to happen. No. The Holy Spirit had a completely different outcome yesterday. And then in a real intimate way, I'll use the word intimate way, this morning reminded me of just how special that was. And that I got invited in on something that He just called me to do. And it was a privilege, an honor to do it. So, I don't know, think about that in your life today. What is it that maybe God's calling you up into? It's huge. It could be huge. It could be little. But you know what? Steward it well. You have a responsibility to do that. We all have a responsibility to steward it well. And love others the way you love God and watch change happen. It is amazing. Bless you guys. I'll see you back real soon.